They say family comes first, that blood is thicker than water. But what they never tell you is what to do when your family treats you like a credit card with a heartbeat. I used to believe in sacrifice, in holding things together, even when I was falling apart. I worked double shifts, skipped meals, smiled through exhaustion, and sent every spare dollar home. Because that's what good daughters do, right? At least, that's what my mother always said. But there comes a moment, a quiet, terrifying moment, when you realize that being useful isn't the same as being loved. And that moment, it changes everything. My name is Lillian. I'm the one they called selfish when I finally said no. This is my story. The one where I stopped saving everyone else and finally chose myself. The cursor blinked at me like it was taunting me. Come on, it seemed to say. Just one more report, one more hour, one more piece of yourself you can give away. I dragged the mouse across the screen, forcing my aching fingers to move. My back screamed from sitting at the same spot for hours, but I ignored it. I had gotten used to ignoring a lot of things. Pain, hunger, exhaustion. The little digital clock in the corner glowed 4:47 a.m. perfect. If I wrapped up now, I could squeeze in maybe 45 minutes of sleep before my shift started at 7 o'clock. Another full day of standing behind a counter, smiling at rude customers, pretending I wasn't dying inside. Normal, expected. I hit send on the last file, slumped back into my chair, and sighed. The cheap heater in the corner coughed out a few pitiful puffs of warm air, but the apartment still felt like an icebox. I pulled my frayed blanket tighter around my shoulders. God, I was so tired. Tired in a way sleep couldn't fix. Tired in my bones, in my heart. But that was life, right? My life anyway. I leaned forward again, about to shut everything down, when a new notification pinged across the screen. My email tab blinked. I almost ignored it, probably junk mail. But the subject line caught my eye. Confirmation, vehicle down payment successful. My stomach twisted. Number, no. I clicked the email, heart pounding so hard it hurt. The message loaded slowly, like it knew it was about to destroy me. There it was, clear as day, a down payment. From my savings account. To a dealership I didn't recognize. $22,000. Gone. Gone. My breath came short and fast. I scrambled to open my banking app, praying it was some sort of mistake, a glitch, a fraud alert, but the numbers didn't lie. Savings, $263.47. $22,000. The money I had bled for, cried for, missed birthdays and holidays and vacations for, just gone. And I already knew who had done it. I didn't need to ask. My parents. The same parents who told me every single day that it was my duty to support them. The same parents who took my first paycheck at 16 to help with household expenses. The same parents who convinced me I didn't need college because women belong with their families. But turned around and demanded I send my brother Daniel to the best university we could barely afford. The same parents who saw me not as a daughter, but as an ATM. I pressed my face into my hands, biting back a scream. It wouldn't change anything. It never did. All my life, it had been the same song. Daniel deserves better. He's the future of this family. You should be proud to help him. At least he's smart enough not to waste his life working dead-end jobs like you. Dead-end jobs that paid their mortgage. Dead-end jobs that bought their groceries. Dead-end jobs that funded Daniel's dream. And what about my dreams? Nobody ever asked. Nobody ever cared. They just took. And I let them. I stayed up night after night taking remote freelance jobs after my regular shifts, saving every damn penny just to maybe someday have a down payment for my own place. A real home that didn't smell like mildew and despair. A place that was mine. But now, I stared at the empty savings account. It was gone, just like that. No warning, no discussion, no apology, just gone. I sat there until the screen blurred through my tears, but crying wouldn't change it. Crying wouldn't fix the broken girl I saw every time I dared to look in the mirror. I wasn't angry anymore. I was wrecked. The sun was just starting to rise by the time I grabbed my keys and left my apartment. I didn't sleep. Couldn't. My body ran on something worse than caffeine now. Pure rage. I didn't even call them. No text, no warning. I just showed up. Their house looked the same. Tidy, suburban, comfortable. Bought and maintained by my money. I walked up the driveway and rang the bell like a stranger. My mother opened the door, all smiles, as if she wasn't the reason my entire life had just crumbled. "Lillian, you're early. Come in," she said, stepping aside. I didn't move. I crossed my arms over my chest. "We need to talk. Now." Her smile faltered, just for a second. But she recovered quickly and turned, waving for me to follow her inside. The living room smelled like fresh coffee and cinnamon. Cozy, warm, safe. It made me sick. I stayed standing while she sat on the couch, casually scrolling her phone. "You used my savings to buy Daniel a car?" I asked, my voice shaking with the effort it took to stay calm. She didn't even look up. "Yes, he needs it. His friends all have cars and we don't want him to feel left out." Like it was the most natural thing in the world. I stared at her stunned. You didn't even ask me?" She finally glanced up, frowning like I was the one being unreasonable. "Well, we didn't think you'd mind. You're doing so well. Daniel needs help. He's still figuring things out." "He's 23. He doesn't even have a job," I snapped. "He's networking," she said smoothly. "You know, meeting people, building connections. You shouldn't stress him." "Boys need time." I laughed. A sharp, bitter sound. "And what about me, Mom? When was I allowed to figure things out? When did I get time?" She stared at me like I was speaking a foreign language. "You're a woman. Your job is to support your family. Daniel needs to be successful. You should be proud to help him." Something inside me cracked wide open. "Proud," I said, my voice low and trembling. "You think I should be proud to kill myself for people who don't give a damn about me? Proud to give up everything while you pamper him like a damn prince?" Her face twisted into a look of pure disgust. "You should be grateful you have a brother like Daniel. You should be ashamed of how selfish you're acting. Look at you, working like a dog, running around like a headless chicken. At least Daniel will be somebody someday. You're nothing but a paycheck." The words hit harder than any slap. A paycheck. That's all I was to them. Not a daughter, not a person, just a paycheck. I turned on my heel and walked out the door without another word. She didn't follow. She didn't even call after me. Of course she didn't. She had already gotten what she wanted. I sat in my old beat-up car, gripping the steering wheel until my knuckles turned white. I could feel it, the breaking point. The part of me that had begged for love, for approval, for something. Finally giving up. If I stayed, I would die. Maybe not today, maybe not tomorrow, but slowly, piece by piece. And when there was nothing left of me, they wouldn't even notice. I stared out the windshield at the empty road ahead. The world felt cold and unfamiliar. Good. Because it was time to stop being the good daughter. It was time to stop being the ATM. It was time to start being me. I made it to work on fumes. Physically, mentally, I had nothing left to give. The overhead fluorescent lights felt like a spotlight exposing every crack in me. I punched in a few minutes late and caught the manager, Mr. Taylor, shooting me a disapproving glance from behind the register. Whatever, let him look. I tied on my apron and shuffled to my station behind the counter. The morning rush had already started, a blur of orders and noise and people too busy to even look me in the eye. I was moving on autopilot, barely hearing what the customers said, repeating my usual lines like a robot. "Good morning. How can I help you? Would you like anything else with that? Have a great day. The bell above the door jingled, again. Another customer, another order, another empty smile. I handed off a latte to a guy in a tailored suit without double-checking it. Big mistake. "What the hell is this?" he barked, shoving the cup back at me so hard it sloshed over my hands. Hot coffee scalded my skin. I jumped back, gasping. "This isn't what I ordered. Are you deaf or just stupid?" he snapped, loud enough that people turned to stare. My face burned. I mumbled an apology, reaching for napkins, trying to blot the coffee off my palms. Before I could even fix the order, Mr. Taylor swooped in, all fake smiles for the customer. "I'm so sorry, sir. I'll take care of this right away," he said smoothly. Then he turned on me, voice low and tight. "Break room, now." I followed him, heart pounding, the coffee still stinging my skin. The moment the door swung closed behind us, he dropped the fake smile. "I don't know what's going on with you, Lillian, but you better pull it together. One more slip-up and you're done here. Do you understand me?" I swallowed the lump in my throat and nodded, fighting back tears. Again. Without waiting for a response, he turned and stormed back out. I stood there staring at the peeling posters on the break room wall. Teamwork makes the dream work. Yeah, right. The dream was surviving another day without falling apart. I somehow made it through my shift, biting my tongue, smiling when I wanted to scream, moving through the hours like a ghost. "You good, Lillian?" The voice came from behind me as I wiped down the counter for the third time. It was Mia, my co-worker. She was young, just barely 20, full of energy and dreams about moving to New York someday. I liked her, she was sweet, and right now she was looking at me like she actually cared. I forced a smile. "Yeah, just tired." She didn't look convinced. "You sure?" "You look, I don't know, kind of wrecked." I laughed a little, a dry, broken sound. "Yeah, well, it's just life. I'm fine." She hesitated, like she wanted to push, but finally just said, "Okay, but if you ever want to talk, I'm around." I nodded and thanked her, even though I knew I wouldn't. What could I even say? Hey, my parents emptied my savings account to buy my useless brother a car, and now I'm one broken coffee order away from getting fired. How's your morning going? Yeah, no thanks. By the time I clocked out, the sky was gray and heavy, threatening rain. I climbed into my beat-up Corolla, already dreaming of collapsing into bed. But the car coughed once, twice, and died. I turned the key again. Nothing. "Come on," I muttered, slapping the steering wheel. Still nothing. I sat there for a minute, forehead pressed against the cold glass, feeling a different kind of hopelessness creep in. Even my car had given up on me. I grabbed my bag, locked the dead car, and trudged to the nearest bus stop. The public bus smelled like wet coats and old cigarettes. I clutched my purse tight against my body and stared out the window the whole way home, willing myself not to cry in front of strangers. It wasn't just exhaustion anymore. It was humiliation. I worked myself to the bone for a family that treated me like garbage. And I still couldn't catch a break. When I finally reached my apartment complex, the first thing I saw was Daniel, leaning casually against a shiny new black car. My car, in a way. The one I had unknowingly paid for. He didn't even look surprised to see me walking up from the bus stop. "Hey," he said, waving lazily like he hadn't just helped ruin my life. I trudged past him, fishing for my keys. "Hey, wait up!" he called, jogging after me. I didn't stop, didn't even slow down. He caught up anyway. "Listen, I need some gas money. Car's almost empty." I froze. Gas money. He was standing there, outside the apartment I was barely clinging onto, asking me for more money. He didn't even ask why I hadn't driven home, didn't ask if I was okay, didn't even notice how wrecked I looked. I turned slowly to face him. I don't have any money, I said flatly. His face twisted in annoyance. Oh, come on, don't be selfish, Lillian. We're family. You're supposed to help. Selfish. Selfish. I laughed. I couldn't help it. It was either laugh or scream. I'm serious, he snapped. You're supposed to put family first. I stared at him, really looked at him, and realized, maybe for the first time, that he truly believed that. He wasn't manipulating me. He wasn't even lying. In his mind, I really was supposed to ruin myself for him. For all of them. Because that's all I had ever been good for. I don't have it, I said again, voice low and cold. He scoffed, yanked open the car door, and slid into the driver's seat without another word. He revved the engine, shot me a dirty look, and sped off down the street, leaving me standing there, alone, again. I shoved my keys into the lock and stumbled inside. The second the door shut behind me, I slid down onto the floor, head in my hands. I was so tired of fighting for people who would never fight for me. So tired of giving and giving until there was nothing left. Something had to change. Not tomorrow, not the next hour. That night I made a pot of plain noodles. No seasoning, no eggs. Just salt and boiling water. The way I always made them when money was tight, which meant always. I was halfway through forcing them down when my phone rang. Mom. I already knew it wasn't going to be good. Still, I answered. Hello? Lillian, finally, I need you to send me $300, she said without preamble. I blinked, fork halfway to my mouth. For what? There's a charity event this Saturday. All the women from my church group will be there, and I can't just show up looking like a beggar. I need to get something decent to wear. A bitter laugh caught in my throat. You want me to give you money for clothes for a party? It's not a party. It's a charity event. We're raising money for orphans, I cut her off. Mom, you took everything, every cent I had saved. You maxed out the loan against the house I'm still paying off. I'm behind on bills. I had to take the bus home today because my car broke down. And you want $300 for clothes? Her tone sharpened. Are you seriously comparing your struggles to mine? I raised you. You owe me. And don't talk like you're starving. You denied your brother money, and now you want to do the same to me, she barked, her voice filled with unmasked fury. I froze. I gave Daniel money throughout his college. I paid his tuition. I let you empty my account to buy him a car he needed to fit in with his jobless friends. I gave everything, and all I ever got in return was disrespect. Now, you want me to buy fuel for the car you bought with my money without asking? There was a pause. Then the explosion. You think you're better than us now? You think because you work 2 useless jobs and live in that shoebox apartment, you can disrespect your parents? You're ungrateful, Lillian. I birthed you. If you won't help me look presentable, what does that say about you? I didn't respond, because if I said even one more word, I was going to scream. I ended the call without warning and immediately switched my phone to silent. Let her scream into the void for once. That night, I didn't touch my laptop. No remote gigs, no emails, no checking schedules. I curled up on my mattress, a slightly used one I'd found outside an apartment building a few months ago. Someone had tossed it out. It didn't have bed bugs or stains, so I dragged it up 3 flights of stairs and made it mine. The springs squeaked a little, but it beat sleeping on the floor. I lay there staring at the ceiling, the buzz of the fridge filling the silence. I didn't cry, not tonight. Instead, I just thought about everything, and how I'd let it all become this. For the next week, I didn't answer any calls. Not from Mom, not from Dad, not from Daniel. I worked my hours, smiled at customers, took my breaks. I bought myself proper food, real groceries. Even indulged in a rotisserie chicken and fresh vegetables one night. Ate slowly, chewed with intention, let myself feel human. I slept early. I walked in the sun. I opened the windows, I didn't check my savings account, didn't check my messages, just breathed. And for the first time in a long time, the weight on my chest didn't feel as crushing. But peace never lasts long in my world. It was a Wednesday. I was halfway through my shift, handing off coffees and bagels like clockwork, when I felt the presence before I saw it. Lillian! My stomach dropped. There she was, my mother, standing inside my job, scanning the room with her jaw tight and eyes full of fire. She'd dressed up. Big earrings, a long floral skirt, and that look like the whole world owed her something. Mia, who was working next to me, gave me a wide-eyed look. I shook my head slightly. Don't. But it was too late. My mom stormed up to the counter, oblivious to the line of customers or the open mouths around her. I've been calling you for days. Why are you ignoring me? We need money to pay the light bill. You think you can just disappear when we need you? Mom, I hissed, face burning. Please don't do this here. You think working at this low-class place makes you better than us? Answer me. Where is the money? You can afford to buy chicken, but your own mother is sitting in darkness. The room felt like it was closing in. I could see Mr. Taylor approaching from the back, a look of warning in his eyes. I'm working, I said through clenched teeth. Please leave. But she wouldn't. She started talking louder, accusing me of abandoning my family, calling me cold-hearted, selfish, a disgrace. The customers stared. Mia stepped between us, gently saying, Ma'am, we're going to have to ask you to leave. But I was already shrinking behind the counter, wishing I could disappear. Because there it was, my worst fear, everyone watching, judging, and worst of all, my mother didn't even care. I didn't realize I was shaking until I felt Mia's hand on my shoulder. Come with me, she whispered. I followed her numbly to the back room. The buzzing from the coffee machines faded, replaced by the pounding in my chest. My manager, Mr. Taylor, intercepted us before we could fully disappear. She's my mother, I tried to explain, though my voice cracked halfway. He sighed. She can't do that here, Lillian. Customers were complaining. I had to call security to escort her out. I'm not angry, but you need to sort things out. Sort things out. If only it were that easy. I'm sorry, I whispered. He studied my face for a moment, then nodded gently. Take tomorrow off, paid. Sort your life out before it eats you alive. I blinked, stunned. Really? Yeah. Go breathe, just come back standing. We all need you standing. Mia nudged me into the break room. I collapsed onto the old couch, my body going limp. That was all it took. One moment of stillness, and the tears came. Big, ugly sobs. Years of exhaustion and humiliation spilling out all at once. I covered my face, but Mia didn't flinch. She sat next to me and pulled me into a side hug, rubbing slow circles on my back. You're not weak, she whispered. You're just tired of carrying everyone else. That night, Mia didn't ask. She told, We're going out. I protested, of course. I looked like a mess. I was broke. I hadn't danced in years. But Mia didn't care. She dragged me to her apartment, handed me one of her sleek black dresses, and made me put on lipstick. You need to remember who you are, she said, curling my hair with practiced ease. You're not their puppet. We hit the club around 10 p.m. Loud music, neon lights, sweaty bodies dancing like nothing else mattered. And for a second, I let go. I swayed with the beat, let Mia twirl me on the floor. It felt good to laugh again, until I saw him. Daniel, leaning against the bar with 3 of his friends, wearing designer sneakers and a smug grin. His eyes narrowed when he spotted me. Mia noticed too. Ignore him, she muttered. Just keep dancing. But of course he couldn't let it go. He walked right over, drink in hand, fake concern smeared across his face. Well, if it isn't my broke sister playing rich for a night? I froze. His friends laughed, low and mean. One of them muttered something about charity cases. Daniel leaned closer. You couldn't even afford a car repair last week, and here you are trying to act classy. Spent your last dime on that cheap lipstick? I wanted the ground to open and swallow me whole. I turned and walked away, but not fast enough to miss his final jab. Selfish witch. Always crying broke, but couldn't help Mom with the bills. Hope you enjoy your noodles. Mia caught up to me in the parking lot. I was trembling. I told you not to come, I whispered. Mia crossed her arms. Number you didn't want to come because you're used to hiding. I didn't respond. She stepped closer. How long, Lillian? How long are you going to let them do this to you? Take from you, humiliate you, break you? My lip trembled. Is this your life? Is this who you want to be? No, I said, my voice cracking. Not anymore. That night, I didn't cry. I walked straight to my desk, opened my laptop, and logged into my bank account. I clicked through every single automatic payment, every transfer, every scheduled bill under my name. Mortgage, canceled. Utilities, canceled. Insurance on the car he drove, canceled. If they wanted to live like royalty, they could figure it out themselves. 3 days later, the calls started again. I didn't pick up. The fourth day, Mom left a voicemail. Her voice was tight, controlled. Lillian, the mortgage hasn't been paid this month. The bank called. What's going on? I called her back. Daniel's the golden child, I said flatly. Let him pay the bills for once. She sputtered. But he doesn't have a job. Then Daniel should figure it out, I said, my voice level, even as I heard the silence on the other end of the line. What? My mother sounded stunned, like I just cursed at her. I didn't repeat myself. I simply ended the call. No shouting, no crying, no begging, just a click, a boundary. It was strange how quiet the house felt afterward. Like for once, the ghosts of obligation and guilt had finally walked out and left me alone with my own breathing. I sat back on my small couch, the springs creaking beneath me, and exhaled. That moment should have been terrifying. Instead, it felt like exhaling after drowning. I didn't go to work that day. Mr. Taylor had already given me time off, and Mia had texted to check in. I lied and said I was sleeping in. She replied with a smiley face and told me to take care of myself. I did. I cooked a proper breakfast, not just instant noodles or toast, but actual eggs, fried plantains, and black coffee the way I liked it. I ate slowly. I even put on music, old R&B that made me sway my hips as I did the dishes. The next few days passed like that, quiet, intentional. I didn't pick up any calls from home, not even Daniel's, especially not Daniel's, but the voicemails started to pile up. Day 3, Mom. Lillian, you're being dramatic. We're family. Families help each other. Call me back. Day 5, Dad. The bank sent a warning notice. You're making things worse. Just do what you've always done. Day 7, Daniel. You think this is funny? That house has your name on it. If we lose it, it's your credit that goes to hell. Don't be stupid. I listened to all of them. And then I deleted everyone. By the end of the second week, the tone changed. Day 10. Mom. They're going to foreclose. The bank said we missed 2 payments. Lillian, please, don't do this. Your brother needs stability. You know how sensitive he is. I nearly laughed. Sensitive? Daniel was a grown man with no job, no drive, and a fresh car that he didn't know how to maintain. And I was the selfish one. The next day, I went to the bank. I sat across from the loan officer, a calm woman named Rita, who wore glasses and spoke with the softness of someone used to disappointed customers. Yes, I'm aware of the mortgage, I said, and I'd like to remove myself as guarantor, or let the foreclosure proceed. She blinked. Are you sure? I nodded. I won't be paying for that property anymore. The occupants can figure it out. She studied me for a long second, then simply nodded. We'll process the notice accordingly. And just like that, my last tie to them began to snap. It took less than 30 days. The house I had worked so hard to save, to protect from debt collectors and unpaid utility threats, was seized. The bank slapped a big red sign on the lawn. I didn't go there. I didn't need to see it. Mia was the one who told me. I passed by on the way to my cousin's, she said over coffee. It's empty. They're gone. Gone where? No idea. I sipped my coffee and said nothing. I felt nothing. No guilt. No regret. Only a strange peace. Like watching a storm roll away after it's destroyed everything. Except you. But the calls returned. Mom, we're staying with your aunt. It's not permanent. Just until we figure something out. Can you help with groceries? Dad. Daniel's been real quiet. He needs encouragement. He's taking this hard. Daniel. This is still your fault. You abandoned us. I blocked them all. With no one left to pay for, I had money again. Not much, but enough to breathe. I fixed my car. I updated my resume. Applied for better jobs. 3 weeks later, I got an interview. A real one. Office admin work for a mid-sized firm downtown. Full-time. Benefits. Mia helped me pick out an outfit from Goodwill. I wore it with pride. I got the job. 1 month later, I moved. It wasn't fancy. A tiny studio on the edge of the city. But it was mine. No one's name was on the lease, but mine. I bought a mattress. A new one. A desk. A lamp. Cookware. No more hand-me-downs from people who never saw my worth. And one night, as I lay in bed after a long day at the office, eating actual food in silence, I scrolled through my phone. There was a message from Daniel. Daniel, I need a place to crash for a few days. Things are tough. I didn't respond. I didn't block him. I wanted him to see the message status. Read, seen, ignored. Weeks turned into months. I picked up weekend classes, finished my GED, started saving again, for real this time. Mia and I planned a weekend trip. Somewhere with a beach, she said, or at least a hot tub. I laughed. Anywhere but here. The day my mother finally showed up at my office building, I knew I'd won. I was heading to lunch when I saw her. Thinner now, hair less perfectly done, eyes tired. Lillian, she called. I paused. The receptionist stared. Can we talk? She asked. I considered. Then I stepped outside. She wrung her hands. We're staying in a church shelter now. Daniel still hasn't found work. Your father's sick. I waited. I know we took advantage of you. I know we didn't treat you right. But please, help us. Just until we get back on our feet. I tilted my head. Back on your feet? You were never standing. You were sitting on my back. She flinched. I'm not angry, I said. I'm free. I'm happy. And I'm not your lifeline anymore. Lillian, take care of yourself, Mom. Really. But don't come here again. And I walked away. That night, I opened a bottle of wine, lit a candle, played the same R&B playlist that once filled my empty kitchen. I danced, slowly, freely. This wasn't revenge, it was resurrection, and I was finally alive. Do you think Lillian did the right thing? I would love to hear your opinion. Don't forget to like, comment, share, and subscribe for more revenge and face-slapping stories.